Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm gonna just have a warning right now and say that I am sick. So if I sound a little funny or if my throat starts acting up and my voice box just like translates into that, yeah, I have a cold. But I want to keep it pushing anyway. Another disclaimer, I am with my dog, so if you hear him yipping at me because I'm not giving him as much attention, even though I'm literally petting his head right now, that will be why you hear background sounds. It's just my baby, so don't mind him too much. But today, I wanted to talk about an experience that I had just yesterday as I'm recording this. I caught up with a couple of my friends I haven't seen in over a year. And I have known these people for over a decade, but as you start to become like a developed adult, you hardly have time to spend with friends as you're doing other things like paying your bills and working. Maybe you have children, or maybe you have something else going on, like family members and stuff like that. People you need to take care of, things of that nature. So there was that. But they managed to find the time to meet up yesterday, and we were hanging out for about 5 to 6 hours. And honestly, even though we haven't talked to each other in a long time, I thought maybe, oh, this could be awkward, or not, there's not gonna be much to talk about. But I will say, we are all part of a Discord server with other mutuals who I do not really talk to anymore, for personal reasons. But we were able to talk about that, and both of them came up with a similar conclusion as to why some people are leaving said Discord or certain people are staying in the Discord. Now, for me, I am one of the people that have kind of, I don't want to say soft left or like ghost left, or, I'm just like hopping in there if, like, say those two friends that I met up yesterday are in there, or like if there's one other person that I know that I'm still like rocking with that's in there, I'll join. But other than that, if anyone else is in there that aren't those like 2 or 3 people, I'm not gonna bother. And I couldn't pinpoint the purpose for that, as to why I didn't feel I should be in the Discord. Like I slowly like weaned myself off of that Discord. I just thought maybe I'm not vibing with the people right. There's a lot of things I don't really have in common with people in there. Like I don't really invest myself in like a lot of games per se. Like yes, I do play video games, like the cozy, like girly games like Sims and Stardew, like all that type of stuff. But I wasn't into like the first person shooters or like the very graphic type video games. So that wasn't me. But I thought like those were the only reasons why I'm not being in there, because they're usually playing those type of games and it's not like my vibe. But I have also noticed like I haven't really been playing video games in general, like things that I like. And so I'm thinking, is it really just like the difference in video games, or is it something else? And that's where I get into when I talk about this with my friends that I saw yesterday. And they both looked at each other, and I'm looking at them like, well, is there something that I don't know? And they look at me and they said, oh yeah, the Discord's basically dying. So I'm like, what happened? And they're basically like, well, people have other things that they need to do. And by people, they mean themselves, pretty much. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? And so one of my friends is a psychology major. And since the point that he graduated, he's been just grinding to get like all his stuff together, because he comes from a background where he doesn't get like a lot of help, whether that's like money wise or like even people to support him to do things. For example, he couldn't get his license for the longest time because he couldn't like borrow one of like relatives' cars or a friend's car or something like that. Like he still wanted to drive and like practice driving and then get his license. He just didn't have the resource, but he's been striving to practice whenever he could anyway. So he was doing that. And once he did get his license and he was handed down a car from like his grandma or something, then he went to go look out for work and immediately got a job as soon as he got his license. That to me is very, how should I say, it's very motivational to me, because it's like that person you could tell has drive and strives to do like things that he actually wants to achieve, and he's ready to, you know, get out and make a living for himself when he comes from a place that doesn't really want to do anything for themselves. So that was his experience. My other friend's experience is kind of in a similar situation to me, except he's in a totally different field than both of us. He's more into like the engineering, like mechanical stuff. I remember he said something about making like animatronics and stuff and working with that type of thing, just robots in general. So there was that. But right now he works a job that he doesn't necessarily get to use those skills in. Like it's more so like a job that like pays the bills and helps with car payments and just gas, all that type of stuff. But I think he also came to the conclusion like, I don't want to be stuck in this place. I want to actually put my degree to use and I want to find a place that actually will take me and my skills and, just be in a career that I actually want to be in. Which is crazy, like friend one already kind of knows what he wants to do and he's doing his best to try to achieve it. And now friend two is like, yo, it's been 3 or 4 years since like I graduated and I haven't used my degree in the slightest. That needs to change. And then I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the previous video or not. I kind of don't remember. I have a memory of a goldfish. But I thought to myself, literally in the beginning of this year, I need to go and find a job that aligns with my skills as well as an artist. As you probably have seen in my previous ones of what I wish I knew when I was in college, like the tips and tricks and stuff like that. So I was briefly talking to my friends about that, like what I wish I knew and what I could have changed differently and what could have been. So yeah. And friend two was basically talking about, no, I'm in the same boat because he didn't know for his profession, even though, yes, it's more of like a mechanical and math and science related field, he didn't know he needed a portfolio for things that he's also worked on. And so now the three of us are like basically talking about what we need to work on. Like friend one, yes, he just got like a new job, but it's catering towards more of like his related field in college, even though he's been unemployed for about 3 to 4 years after he graduated college. So I'm happy for him that he was able to get into that field regardless of all like the challenges that he's faced and hurdles and inconveniences that was like in his life. And even still, he's in like the field that's related to what he wants to do. He's still stuck between two choices, but at least he's in the right path. So that's what we were talking about for him. With friend two, he's in a completely different field, like in terms of what he's working in right now, and wants to change that. So he's been like going to places and applying to places. And then for me, I haven't been really working on it in these videos, but I probably should be doing that more, is working on my portfolio pieces. And I will include photos of specifically on the screen here, if you can take a look, of a few portfolio pieces that I have already created last year, because I was straight working on my portfolio strictly all last year instead of just, drawing just for fun. And I want to continue with that this year because I'm also looking into different places that I want to go to and possible companies that I want to work for. And I've been trying to network since I didn't get the opportunity to when I was in college, which was another thing that me and friend two had in common in terms of like who we could have interacted with if it were not for COVID-19. Because of that, we both felt we had pretty much no opportunities to network with people that would help us in our field. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's like a boo-hoo, like weep fest, but I'm saying that now we have to work extra hard to find people that will see what we've been working on and what we are trying to do and just trying to get our foot in the door. I say all of this to conclude with what they're saying about the Discord. Since the three of us are not really in there, they have noticed, since they're in there more than me, that the reason why that they are leaving and they feel they should leave said Discord is because the people that they surround themselves with are not driven, are not looking into bettering themselves, as they have said, are complacent. And I have to admit, I'm kind of like in that boat too. Like for a while, I was in that boat. After I graduated from college, I wanted nothing to do with art for at least a year because I was so burnt out. It was project after project after project, and I felt like it wasn't really catering to what I wanted to do in terms of the classes that I took because I was trying to people please and try to pick a career path that's art related that would not get me yelled at by like my family, because I don't want to disappoint my family and I wanted to actually make money with what I wanted to do. But at the same time, I've realized this year I might make a lot of money, but if I do not enjoy what I am doing, it is not worth it. And some people may not agree with that. Some people be like, no, money is everything. You just need to suck it up, which I understand. Things are expensive. For me, I don't need to be the richest person. I don't find joy in just being rich if I am miserable at my job. No, I'm not saying that like that's my realistic reality. That's a little redundant, but I'm not saying that's my reality right now. Like I'm completely miserable with where I'm at. I'm just saying though, I don't need to be the richest. I don't want to work a job that does not make me happy, that doesn't feel fulfilling, and doesn't cater to like my skills. And I feel like that's where we all get a little bit lost, because everyone wants to put everyone in a box of like what will actually make money in a place that requires a lot of money and you don't have any other options. Like, just for example, I'm in America, and one of the top 3 positions or like related fields that people need to go to in order to make good money would be like our nurses and doctors, our engineers. Those are like the top 2. I would have said dealing with tech, but as we all know, AI is kind of like a crutch right now. So, but I'm saying all this to say those are like the only realistic options people are really thinking about. No one is thinking about, say, like for my situation, like the artists. People are saying like, oh, you're going to be a starving artist then because it's not a realistic goal. Well, I don't want to see it that way. And with my perspective, I'm going to get into this in another video, but I am hoping, and I feel like because of everything going on in the art world today, that we're going to see a lot of people coming out in like indie studios and like indie artists and all that stuff, versus striving and working towards to work in a big company like Disney or Warner Bros. Or I don't know, just one of those bigger companies that create artwork and like media, like that type of stuff. So some people aren't thinking about that. Some people aren't also thinking about like maybe like writers. Like I know people are using like ChatGPT to like write things for them, which is really, really sad. Again, I'm going to get into all this type of stuff in another video, but I'm just giving a few examples of what could be. Even if it's not in a super creative field, a lot of people also like sports, but how many people want to go into sports and people tell them, oh, you don't got it like that. You can't do that. It's too saturated. It's too competitive. Well, at this point, everything's competitive. That's my humble opinion, and you can disagree with me in the comments or agree if you want, but everything, and I mean everything, is competitive. It doesn't matter at this point in time. What does matter is you doing the best you can to try and achieve that goal and working towards it. And I'm going to circle back to what we're talking about yesterday, me and my friends, in regards to the Discord. They, as in my 2 friends and me, starting this year, have really been thinking we need to get up off our butts and really like have the drive, well, not have the drive, but like really work towards what we want to do, because we're very passionate about what we want to do, because there was no way that we went into college and to not use the degree. And some people don't. I'm not knocking y'all, but that's just not us, you know. So we want to change that. For the people in Discord, I know there was another person I used to talk to, but not anymore. This person wanted to be like in a nursing program and wanted to do anything like related to the field. And they do work, from what I know, in some type of medical facility, but they're not putting anything that they're learning into practice. And the thing is, it's not like these people, like my friends right now, are not trying to suggest like, hey, maybe we could do this, like help each other out, right? Like they're suggesting things like, hey, if you're not happy, if you want to do like this particular thing, let's try this. The problem with the people in this Discord is they're like, nah, I'm okay. Like, for example, with this person that wanted to be in the nursing program, I told them like, hey, I know a person who has this job that relates to working directly with people that might need your assistance. And I feel like with that job, she would gain transferable skills into what would be like the nursing program, or like if she wants to be a nurse. And on top of that, I told her, like, this job pays da 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 da, da, which is more than what she was getting. So I didn't see like any cons really of what could have been like if she did accept going to said job or trying out for said job. But she said no. And to this day, she's stuck in the same job that she had 4 years ago when we were talking about this, even though it has nothing to do with what she wants to do. So that's one. A second one would be like friend two was talking to one of the friends in that Discord saying like, hey, you want to explore these different things because you don't know what you want to do yet. There's this, and this, or that person is just getting their degree, and then we're making suggestions, and that person's like, yeah, I should do that, and then turns around and goes ahead and just stays on the Discord doing like jack shit. From what I'm hearing, you're saying that they're just playing like group games, nothing related to their careers. And mind you, I'm an advocate for taking big breaks when you need them. You need mental breaks, you need fun breaks, because life is not all about work. I will say that. But it gets to a point where you're in a certain place for a certain amount of time every single day. And that was the problem with this said person. This person was in the Discord every single day for 8 hours out of the day. And if you do get 8 hours of sleep, like most of us don't, most of us stay up for most of the day anyway. But if he were to get 8 hours of sleep, the remaining 6 could be towards something that's like maybe like a job or working towards something, or maybe like they're in school. They're about to get their degree. They're probably in their forced like school, but like anything outside of that, there was nothing really being done. But I digress. And with the final friend, and it was someone that I really wanted to continue talking to in terms of whenever I'm in said Discord. But I'm even hearing that this person, it was in the same situation as friend one, when he doesn't have like his license, he doesn't have a car. But the difference is that this Discord friend who doesn't have a car has the support, blah, blah, he has a support system to help him get said car. Like they let him practice driving. They're always available for him to practice. He just chooses not to. And that is the difference between them versus my friends I was talking to yesterday and myself. And that is why we've decided to separate ourselves from people like that, because it does matter who you surround yourself with. And if you don't see growth around you, you're more than likely to stay stagnant. And that goes for everything. It doesn't even have to be in career. Like it maybe you're not looking into careers right now. Maybe you're looking for enrichment in your life. Like you want to go out and do more things, but maybe your friends are always like shut-ins and don't want to interact with anybody. Maybe you want to learn a new skill and like you want to just, expand yourself in a different way. And people are like, oh, I like the same old thing. Let's just keep doing this. Like that's not going to work for people that want to do different things with their lives. You need to surround yourself with people just as motivated as you, because it's like a wheel, or like, how should I say? I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like you're feeding people and they're feeding you, and it's like a back and forth, and it just continuous growing. You're pouring into each other exactly what you need and what they need. And that is the point of this video. If you were to take anything away from it, it would be, if you have a goal, if you have things you want to achieve, if you have a dream job, if you have like a future life that you picture for yourself, take a look at your surroundings. Who are the people that you surround yourself with, and what do they want? Does it align with what you want? And does it align like in terms of, yes, they're in a separate path in terms of different goals than you, like say maybe they want to be like a gardener and they want to start their own business, and you want to maybe be like a teacher or something. but you both still want to strive towards your goals. Do you both have that same drive to do what you need to do? I would ask yourself that. And if they don't, but you do, it's sad to say, but if you're really focused on that goal of yours, I would say it's time to separate. I'm not saying to cut them off forever. No, I'm saying I would distance yourself and surround yourself with people that are in the same mindset as you if you're looking to grow. You can still talk to that person occasionally, but I would not surround themselves and have them contaminate your motivational energy. And that will be it for this video. I took a different approach than I typically do with my other videos, and that's probably why this is longer. This didn't really have like bullet points or a script. I just kind of went off exactly what I was talking about yesterday with my friends, and then like my thought processes and everything that like I've learned and shared, and like vice versa. So if you like this type of video, please leave a comment and give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna try to create more, and I'm gonna stop trying to say I'm going to try. This year I will do things, and I'm gonna hold myself accountable to that. And if I don't, I'm gonna set punishments for myself. This is how I am. Like, maybe there's something I've been holding back on that I didn't really want to do. I'm gonna have to do that if I don't follow my word. But that's besides the point. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope y'all take something away from this, and if not, maybe you're not ready for it, and that's okay. You can always come back to this, but I will see y'all in the next one. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. Take care.